So Baby Storme called out Ice Spice, spilling all the tea by leaking their text messages where Ice Spice was dissing Nicki Minaj. At first, people thought it wasn't that serious. Folks thought Baby Storme was just chasing clout or something of that sort. But then she dropped those texts between her and Ice Spice, who apparently was talking smack about Doechii. Then people noticed Doechii stopped following Ice Spice, and that's when everyone realized there's something juicy going on here. So let's dive into why Baby Storme is airing out all this dirty laundry. Isis did everything in her power to make sure my career would never take off. She did everything you could possibly think of and more, but I'm not afraid of her anymore. This is the truth. And then she added, because unfortunately, I thought she was a real friend. I've known her since we were 13. We went to the same grade school and high school. Sacred Heart in Yonkers, New York. We met in 8th grade. She was my high school bully. I forgave her after high school because she apologized for bullying me. She only tried to rekindle with me when I started doing music and got some motion. She used my connections and resources to make her way to the top and pretended to be my friend. She forced everyone in her life to sign an NDA, including me. But the only person I'm signed to is God, so I will speak the truth. The main question to answer right about now is why? So here's why Baby Storme starts spilling the beans, showing off texts between her and Ice Spice. Honestly, anytime someone leaks private chats, it really says something about who they are. It's a pretty low move. It makes you wonder if Baby Storme was just gathering the stuff in case Ice Spice ever turned on her. I get the feeling she was waiting for the perfect moment to clap back at Ice Spice, because she's not over how Ice Spice treated her back in high school. She played nice for a while, but now she's getting her revenge. Do I think it's cool? Definitely not, but I get it. Ice Spice really did Baby Storme dirty, and there's nothing scarier than a woman out for payback. Now let's dive into these texts. So this is the very first thing Ice Spice said talking about Doechii. She said, but then she'll be like, I'm dark-skinned so I always have to work harder than everyone. Baby Storme replied with, this is actually true, but only partially. And also this, which I understand, but let's not act like she's not one of the chosen dark-skins because she does benefit from pretty privilege still and for being skinny. As soon as these text messages started circulating, people started noticing that Doechii unfollowed and blocked Ice Spice. Alright, so here's the scoop. We're not shocked by what Ice Spice said. She was off from way back when it comes to colorism, and so this isn't really a surprise. Plus, Baby Storme dropped another bombshell, revealing that Ice Spice was supposedly playing her producer and her boyfriend Riot by messing around with the rapper TJ. Baby Storme posted this. EJ Riot is her producer and boyfriend since 2019. He was the real mastermind behind her career and the one who pushed her to rap. She cheated on him with TJ and then rapped about it on their song Together. If you don't believe me, just go back and read the lyrics to Gangsta Boo. But this time, read carefully. They were talking about him. She knows no loyalty, not even to the only person who has always been there for her, Riot. So, Baby Storme also said that Ice Spice's track Gangsta Boo was also about TJ, and Lil TJ even threatened to mess with Riot if Ice Spice didn't return his watch. Plus, she claimed Ice Spice was getting physical with Riot. It's all turning into a huge mess. Now, let's get into the real tea. Ice Spice went off on Nicki Minaj, calling her ungrateful and jealous, which is pretty wild when you think about how much Nicki boosted her career. Nicki not only co-signed her but also collaborated on 2 tracks, Princess Diana and Barbie World. But apparently, there were some behind-the-scenes dramas and some tension between Ice Spice's manager James Rossman and Nicki and her team. And then Baby Storme started digging into their meeting. So here's what went down. Baby Storme was like, how did the call end yesterday? Ice Spice replied that it was kinda open-ended, but then James hit her up with Nicki's old manager of 11 years and said Nicki was being unfair, asking for too much, which everyone's been saying. But negotiating with her is tough because she won't let people like lawyers or James talk. Baby Storme was like, that's just so annoying, bro. Does she not realize she's asking for too much? And Ice Spice was like, nope, she doesn't think so at all. Baby Storme then asked if they think they'll manage to compromise. Ice Spice was hopeful but mentioned they're about to drop another record in June for the Barbie soundtrack, a gig she got on her own, but invited Nicki since it's her brand. And Nicki doesn't even see that as Ice Spice helping her out, calls her ungrateful and delusional, kind of like her mom. Ice Spice said she cut her off and won't talk to her until January. Baby Storme was shocked. OMG, how does she not realize that? It's not like they initially asked her to do it. Ice Spice feels it's always like Nicki thinks she's doing you a favor. Sure, Nicki is the bigger artist, but still. Baby Storme asked if there was more to it, and Ice Spice shared that Nicki also wants publishing from all her songs, including stuff she writes for others or any collabs she's on. Ice Spice was like, remember, I had a Taylor Swift collab before the Nicki one. And that got me thinking, maybe there were talks about Ice Spice signing to Nicki's label, cause why else would Nicki want to cut from Ice Spice's publishing? It sounds like a bad deal, especially since Ice Spice already has a solid deal with 10K Records, owns her publishing and masters, and makes makes good money from her writing and records. But when it comes to working with Nicki, I get why Nicki would want terms that benefit her, because when she collaborates, it's a huge boost for any artist, especially female rappers who know a Nicki cosign can fast-track their careers. Nicki is aware of this and wants to make sure she benefits financially from these collaborations. Now let's go to the truth and lies. Nicki used to do features for free, just vibing off whatever relationship she had, but got tired of feeling used. Her stylist Callie mentioned that now Nicki gives artists a choice: pay up for a feature and video or sign to her label Heavy on it so she can recoup. This kinda confirms my hunch that Ice Spice was kinda considering signing with Heavy on it for these collabs. Even though it wasn't the best deal for her, she was leaning towards signing anyway. Now, about those features with Nicki, it sounds like Nicki didn't feel compensated enough. But let's get back to what Baby Storme said in response to Ice Spice, asking if the Taylor Swift collab was still on and if she needed a break from her mom's antics or was it just too much. Baby Storme also pointed out that we might think Nicki's asking for too much, but back in the early 2000s, the deals weren't as artist-friendly at all. So to Nicki, her demands might seem fair because she's used to labels taking more. Ice Spice clapped back, saying that's exactly what Nicki keeps saying, comparing it to when Lil Wayne signed her. But Ice Spice, already having a deal, sees no point in going backwards. She feels Nicki gaslights her too much, and she's got to love her from a distance for her mental health. Baby Storme made a solid point, comparing it to those who think student loan forgiveness isn't fair because they had to pay. Ice Spice wanted to pay Nicki, and it's clear Nicki's a bit salty about Ice Spice owning all her masters, even calling out James during an interview for boasting about it. It's a bit wild that Ice Spice said Nicki is jealous, ungrateful, and delusional, kinda like her mom, who apparently wants to start rapping too. I'm curious about that drama, but this whole convo happened before their Barbie World collab, and there was tension on set. Armin Wiggins even mentioned Nicki snapping at Ice Spice's team. It's messed up that Ice Spice talked about Nicki behind her back. Despite her frustrations, Nicki gave her 2 huge collabs, opened her fanbase, took time for videos, and even gave her a winter coat. Calling Nicki jealous and ungrateful seems harsh and shows why Nicki's cautious with female rappers. And it's not just about Nicki's personality. People are using her for collabs to boost their own careers. Ice Spice reached out for the Barbie collab, acting like she was doing Nicki a favor, but it was all for her benefit. Nicki didn't need Ice Spice for the soundtrack. She was already in talks with the producers and liked the idea of flipping the song into a hip-hop track. Ice Spice was smart about it, but maybe played her hand too much and now seems like she's using others. Man, if Ice Spice hadn't upset Baby Storme, we might never have gotten this insight. Shows you gotta be careful about venting to just anyone. But what do you think about this entire situation? Let us know below in the comment section, and don't forget to check out the next video.